yeah, man, tell me, we got a new special here, man. You Can't Please Them All, coming out September 27th. Talk a little bit about this one, man. I mean, where'd you record it, and what are some of the topics you tackle on this one?
I recorded it in Long Island at Governor's Comedy Club. It's one of the famous clubs, been around forever. The crowds are great there at Long Island. There's blue collar. And most of the ones I do are usually in a theater, but I wanted a comedy club setting. And recorded it probably about 4 or 5 months ago. And it's coming. The audio version's coming out on September 27th, and then the video version of it will be on YouTube, also like Tubi TV and Amazon Prime, probably like somewhere in October. But the album is coming out September 27th.
Nice, man. So obviously, this is, I'm not sure what number special this is for you. You've done a ton of albums and a ton of specials and stuff over the years, man. How would you say your comedy has either changed or kind of evolved over the course of your career?
It really hasn't.
Yeah.
It really, people always say you got to evolve. I'm like, I think that, I don't know. I mean, but, look, it's whatever's going on in my life at that time is what I usually do with my material. So whether I'm in a relationship, whether it's a divorce or whatever it's going on. And so this is pretty much, a lot of it is, I talk about the NFL a lot, and also raising my kid and being single, raising them, and coaching his rec basketball team. And all like the nonsense that they push on the kids in school, all this like woke shit. So a lot of that's involved in the special. But I love going after the NFL.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute, man, because you just did a couple weeks ago on your podcast. For everybody out there, man, that's the Everybody's Awful podcast. Get it wherever you download podcasts. But you did an NFL preview and stuff, man. So yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the NFL. And obviously, you're a Dolphins fan. Your quarterback, the quarterback there, Tua took another concussion, man. What are your thoughts on that? You think he should consider retirement? I don't think he's going to retire at all, but I mean, do you think he should? That's something he should consider at this point.
Well, first of all, the season's over, so once he's out, because he's out for at least 4 weeks. Look, the problem with Tua is he gets concussions on like a nationally televised game. It's never like 1:00 on a Sunday against the Colts when no one's watching. So everybody knows about it. He's a big figure in the NFL. I looked at this up the other day. I saw a stat. Troy Aikman had 9 confirmed concussions when he was in the NFL. Steve Young had 11 confirmed concussions. And Brett Favre came out and said he thinks he had 100 concussions in his career. So Tua's on his 4th. He can play. I don't know. But the problem is when you got a starting quarterback keeps getting hurt and you're missing games, your season's over because the backup is never as good. So, they just have to get a new quarterback in the offseason. They're going to have to draft somebody.
I got you. So, I mean, you mentioned talking about the NFL a little bit in this special, man. What are some of the most annoying things going on with the NFL right now?
Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. I mean, can it be anyone be more overexposed than them two? And also now the brother, Jason. Those Kelce brothers, they cannot get enough attention. They are everywhere. It's like you got to tone it down at some point because people are going to get really sick of you really quick. And I feel like that's already happening.
Well, Travis Kelce has sort of sucked this year so far, hasn't he? Like there hasn't been like I think there was a thing saying there's more TV time of Taylor Swift than him because he's not catching the ball.
He's like 3 catches for like 26 yards this year. He has. Look, when you when you date somebody at that level, and everything has to be planned, and everything has to be. There's a million moving parts with security, this, that. You can't focus on your job. You can't focus on football, and he's not. And he's getting older. Obviously, he's like going to be 35 this year for a tight end. That's old, but that's high maintenance. That's not some girl, that you're dating that's like a regular wife that's just going to sit in the stands. It's not going to be a problem. There's a lot that goes in there. If your mind's not on it, you see what your quarterback in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson, when he's doing all that shady stuff off the field, like it's going to affect his play. You got to be totally just 100% in the football, and that's it. And Travis Kelce obviously is. And as soon as the game's over, they're taking a private jet to New York. They're going, partying. They're going here. They're going to the U.S. Open. Did you see that video of them singing at the U.S. Open, that Darkness song, mimicking it?
To quote you, brutal.
I mean, brutal. They knew the cameras were on them, and then they have to act like that. It's like, how much attention do those two need? It's embarrassing at this point. Everyone knows who you are. You know what I mean? Because even Patrick Mahomes' wife was right there, and you saw her in the video. She goes, "What is she doing? Like, why is she acting like that?"
Yeah, it's rough, man. I think everybody's getting kind of sick of the Chiefs at this point, unless you're from Kansas City, unless you're sort of a diehard, or unless you're Richard Christie.
And if you watch the games, they get all the calls.
Oh,
like
yeah.
early in the first half, the Chiefs will get these calls against them just to even it out. But when the game's on the line, holding all of a sudden, defensive pass interference has been going on forever with them.
Well, yeah, I mean the NFL, man. I mean they're seeing the ratings, all the Taylor Swift fans watching and stuff. So yeah, they certainly want them in there as much as possible. They're going to be on TV as much. So yeah,
you know what's embarrassing about that is, like, I'm picturing myself as a teenager because most Taylor Swift fans are teenagers. Well, like I was a huge Ozzy fan. Like if Ozzy was dating some woman, and I wasn't even into the sport, I didn't care about it. And just, they might cut to him like 3 or 4 times a game, and I'm going to sit there and watch that whole boring game to see Ozzy in a skybox. Like, holy shit, that was him. I know what he looks like.
Yeah.
Like, it's really... And meanwhile, they're not football fans, and they're not bringing more viewers in. Maybe to a Chiefs game just to see if she's there. You think they're watching a Bengals-Jaguars game on a Thursday night on Amazon Prime when it's 3-0 at halftime?
No. What are your thoughts on, you speaking, you mentioned, Amazon Prime, whatever. It's kind of a pain in the ass of the NFL now too. They're spreading out all the games. I mean, I kind of get why they're doing it. It's a whole big money thing, but yeah, it kind of drives you nuts when it's like, man, you got to watch the game whenever and you can't find it because you don't have that. You have to subscribe to 16 streaming services to get all the games.
Well, yeah, they always say we're for the fans, everything about the fans. Even Roger Goodell goes, no, the fans want it. The fans are in the streaming. That's how they want it. No, I want to sign up for friggin', what was that, Peacock to watch the Eagle game a couple Fridays ago. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want. When there's just shit on that, there's nothing to watch on Peacock. But no, I mean, look, they know they could screw over the fans. They could change the time of the games. They could switch a Sunday game to a Thursday now. They could do all that. So they don't give a shit. But there's so much TV money and gambling money that, you just put up. We're like, if you're a big NFL fan, you're in an abusive relationship. They just walk all over you, and we just sit there and take it.
Yeah, pretty much, man. They've pretty much they've pretty much proven that the NFL fans are going to follow them anywhere, and they're going to buy whatever. They'll go to whatever streaming servers. But yeah,
and just that they keep putting these stupid games over in Europe, that takes away from home field advantage for the team that had to give up that game.
Yeah,
that's a huge. A lot of teams have a huge home field advantage. Now you're playing on neutral turf over in Europe, and there's like 8 or 9, like 8 games there. So that's another thing where they just screw the teams.
Switching back to comedy here, Jim. One of your biggest influences and one of your good friends in comedy is Andrew Dice Clay, who I love watching. I love following him on social media. For anybody out there, follow him on social media because it's just him fucking with people the whole time. Having played with him so many times, having been around him so often, what's one of the best pranks that you've seen him pull on someone that you've been there for?
Oh yeah, so one time we're doing this theater, and we're running late because we hit traffic. So the crowd's waiting. We're like 25 minutes late. And the promoter's freaking out. He's calling. We're like, yeah, we're in the limo. We're getting there. We're close. So then he gets there. He goes, all right, I'm going to pretend I'm drunk. Just go with it. So we finally pulled the back. The guy's ready because I'm the opening act. So the promoter's out there. You ready to go on stage? You ready? Come on. The crowd's waiting to get Nancy. And Dice is like, wait, you got to help me get out of the limo. And he's pretending he's drunk. And the promoter's out of his mind because this crowd's getting unruly. And he's going to me. He pulls me aside. Is he been drinking? I go, I don't know what's going on. He goes, what do you mean you don't know? There's a sold-out house here. How's he going to get on stage? You can't even walk. I go, look, I don't know what to tell you. Was he drinking in the limo? I go, look, that's none of my business. Ask him. So the guy's freaking out. So he says, just start the show. And Dice is like, help me. Help me up the stairs. And then I introduce, I'm done. And I guess he had an intro. So I go, good night. I walk off stage. He's still acting drunk. He's like, you got to walk me out to the stage. Where's the microphone? The promoter's like, it's right there. He goes, I don't see it. Like he's fucking with. And then as soon as they go, Andrew Dice Clay, he just walked out. Like, and just did his set. And that promoter was so fucking mad. Furious that he almost had a heart attack. And why? Just to mess with them.
I love. I mean, yeah. He clearly he's just like he's been doing this for so long. He just does it to amuse himself, but it's hilarious, man. Like he just loves fucking with people. But yeah, I love following his social media for that. Just him randomly going up to people on the street, seeing if they recognize him and stuff, and just I have no idea what's going on. Great. We haven't, staying on the topic of pranks, man. I mean, obviously you've done a ton of them throughout your career. You had the whole, Meet the Creeps, hidden camera prank show. What would you say is one of the best pranks that you've ever pulled off, or is there one that you kind of hold above the rest, or one that ranks pretty high?
I don't know. I mean, look, with the prank calls that I was doing at my house, the cops came 2 different times and then called a third time. So, when you can get the cops to come to your house, where you convince somebody that, like there was one where I pretended I was getting robbed, and the guy shoots me in the knee, and the woman was freaking out. She had my address. The cops came to my house like 10 minutes later, thought someone was shot. Mm-hmm. So those are always good, and you have to explain them. Like, no, I just make prank phone calls. Like, how old are you? Grow up.
There was one on Meet the Creeps, and refresh my memory on this. Where it was you and Don, and I can't remember if you were pretending that Don was handicapped. I think you dumped him over in the wheelchair.
Oh, that one. No. Yeah, that could. That's probably the best one. Yeah, it was. No, we went to like an open mic night in Vegas, one of those real high stages, like the Vegas stage, and I pretended I was a comedian in a wheelchair.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And this is my first time on stage, so I come out in a wheelchair, and I'm like, this is my first time. I want to do comedy. And I start doing jokes, and they're really bad. And Don's in the audience heckling me right in the front row. And I'm like, hey, man, just leave me alone. I'm just trying. He goes, you suck, man. I'm not a comic. I'm even better than you. I'm like, whatever. I do another bad joke. And I just go, hey, dude, you know what? Fuck off. He's like, fuck off. That was his cue. He comes up on stage, friggin' takes the wheelchair and dumps me off the stage and throws me into the crowd as I'm laying on the ground. The wheelchair's spinning. It's upside down, and he grabs the mic. So how about these penny slots here in Vegas? And he starts doing jokes as I'm laying there. The crowd's trying to pick me up. He's like, hey, leave him alone. His legs don't work. He can't move. You're interrupting my set. So that was probably the best one. And I went off a really high stage. Like it was probably 5-6 feet. I said, look, I'm only doing this once, so we have to get it. I had those when you used to rollerblade, they had the wrist guards, the elbow guards, the knee guards. I had all that shit on underneath my clothes. I'm like, I'm going to break an arm or an elbow, land it on, because I don't know how it was going to land. He was just dumping me out.
But for anybody out there that hasn't seen that, but yeah, it's just great. Like you're laying on the ground, and Don just seamlessly goes right into the bits.
Right into a bit.
So good. Along that line and stuff too, man. Eddie Trunk was telling a story the other day. You were in line, I think, at the airport, and he always tells like the fart stories. You're always farting in public. What was like, I guess, the most inappropriate time that you ripped a fart somewhere in public?
Well, when we used to do that metal show for VH1, sometimes we tape in New York, sometimes LA. So if we went to LA, they put us in first class. Mm-hmm. So people are paying from New Jersey to LA. That's probably a $3,000 ticket. And me and Don are just farting in first class. You know what I mean? These people paid $3,000 for it. Well, there was one businessman, I remember, we were farting so bad, he was sitting across from us in the aisle. He just went like this and just started typing like this. And it was great. Everybody's reaching for the air. And Don, like Eddie's sitting like 2 rows up, and we're waving it to him. He's getting it. He's looking back. It's just like, why? Like people with class sit in first class, and we're just ruining it.
Do you have to eat? Is there anything like specifically when you're going to do that you go and eat or whatever, or do you just have?
I don't know, not from me, but I know Don says like a glass of wine and some peanuts. So he would drink that right before and eat that right before he got on the plane.
Yeah, nice, man. No, that's great. Yeah, I can only imagine just embarrassing Eddie.
Oh yeah, because he gets embarrassed quick. I don't break character, so. I'll do it in an elevator with Eddie, and I'm just got, a bunch of people will be in the back. I go, sorry for my friend. He's like, I didn't do it. I go, sorry. Come on, dude. Can you at least hold him in? I'm sorry.
No, I think I've told you this story. The one time when you were playing in Youngstown for and Joe Howard's on stage and he hits a quiet point in his set, and you just hear a big giant.
Oh yeah, right. You were at that show, right?
And that was you back in the dressing room. And luckily, to his credit, he stopped. He's like, "Did somebody just fart?"
Yeah, I remember that. I forgot about that.
You also, again, we mentioned your podcast, Everybody Is Awful, and you cover a lot of dumb shit, on social media, and I'm sure you see more of that stuff than I think a lot of people do, because your fans and stuff and people that listen to it are sending it to you. What are some of the most terrible trends right now that you're seeing on social media?
A lot of people would make up stories for sympathy, or a lot of moms or dads, but mostly moms will make up a story that their kid, like a 4-year-old, their 3 or 4-year-old was in a supermarket, and they gave, they had a purse with them, and they gave a homeless guy money outside. And because, so it's always like, or the 3-year-old did something amazing, or the 4-year-old, and it's basically them going, okay, well, the reason they did this is because they came out of me. Mm-hmm. So they want that backhanded compliment, like, it's because I'm a great mom, and that's how I raised this kid to have empathy for people. You know what I mean? Like there was one the other day, like a 3-year-old had a purse with her, saw a homeless guy outside and started giving him money and saying, I feel bad for you, you should go to McDonald's, all that stuff. Because that's what 3-year-olds do. They carry a purse to the supermarket because sometimes they want to buy stuff with their own money. And then when a kid, like a little kid, says something really smart, like a 4-year-old says something really, really smart that maybe a 15-year-old would say, that's just them saying, hey, listen, my kid said that because I'm smart, and he's only smart because of me, because he came out of me, so just let you know. So that's what, it's really sad, is what they're, like, I wish the kid was 4 and he could see it and go, Mom, why'd you post that? That's a lie. I never said that. But those kids will never see it.
What have been some of the best responses from from your fans and stuff when they call out some of this just stupid bullshit that they see on social media? What have been some of the best responses?
I always tell people to try to do, like, this never happened. You're lying. A 3-year-old would never can't read a book. Why you're saying that? You know what I mean? And they'll block them and stuff like that. I love when people respond, but then I also understand, like, this one guy keeps responding. He's like, to his wife's best friend that keeps making up stories, like, you're lying. That never happened. Why would you? There's not even a Wawa around here, whatever it is. So why are you making that up? And his wife has to get the call. Your husband's such an asshole. It's great.
Nice, man. Nice. Well, Jim, you're going to be in this area as well. Next month, you'll be at the Funny Stop on October 25th and 26th. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, the former owner, Pete, who we lost, who passed away a year, I think a little over a year ago now. But yeah, man, I mean, Pete was a total character there at the Funny Stop, man. Do you have any funny Pete stories you can share with us?
I miss the guy, man. So, there was always these characters that own clubs, and you love going back to the club. And like, there's maybe one left now. There was like 5 that I would just love. I can't wait to hang out with him. Pete was one of them. It's funny because Pete, was Lebanese. He had this thick accent, and he always thought everyone was gay. Every comic was gay. Joe Howard, gay. Chad Zuma, gay. Everybody was gay, even though they weren't. And then he would make the announcement at the beginning of the show. He'd have this bad music playing in the background, really loud. He's screaming in the mic, you guys ready for a show? Screaming. And then it's funny because he would stay on the mic in the back, like by the DJ booth, and Joe Howard would go first. He goes, what the hell was that? And Pete would still be on the mic from the back. He'll go, fuck you! Like, and then if a comic was going over on his time, like you're supposed to do 20 minutes and he's at like 25, he'd get on the mic in the back room, get off the stage, go, let's go. You did your time, move, let's go. Put the mic in the stand. It's great.
Yeah, when he was in the back, I remember the what was the super cornball song that he would play? Like, he'd blare it. It was
dun, 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 whatever that song is.
Yeah, and then the second anytime somebody made fun of it, like, what's up? Yeah, fuck you. Like, oh yeah,
what kind of shitty song is that? Fuck you.
Just right in the middle of the show. Meanwhile, people there and they've never been there for, like, what the hell is going on? Like, like, who's saying that? Yeah, it's Pete in the back booth, man. But yeah, definitely a guy that definitely a guy that I miss hanging around, just because, like I said, he was sometimes he was funnier than a lot of the comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. It's too bad, man.
Well, Jim, man, so obviously you have the special and stuff coming out here on the 27th, man. I mean, anything else kind of that you have going on in the works that you want to plug, or anything else coming up? I know you put out a terrorizing telemarketer CD not too long ago, but yeah, man, what kind of projects outside of the special and stuff coming out are you working on?
Nah, but that's it. I got the special now. I go back to the clubs and start working on all new material. So I'm in the middle of doing that. Just out on tour, and I do my podcast. Everybody's Awful comes out on Monday. I still do a show on Sirius XM on Ozzy's Boneyard, a hard rock and metal show. So yeah, I still got a lot going on. But yeah, that's it for right now. It's kind of a quiet time, but I'm building up a whole new set now, which is exciting. So I go to open mics and I work on this stuff. I just went to one last night and stuff. So that's basically where I'm at right now in my career.
Well, speaking of hard rock and heavy metal, kind of the biggest thing sort of in the news as far as that's concerned is the whole Linkin Park reunion, man. What are your thoughts on that, man? It seems like they announced that, and then all of a sudden there was all this backlash against the singer. I guess Chester Bennington's son's not a fan of it. His mom, I guess, just came out today. I saw something that she's not a fan of it either, man. But yeah, kind of what are your thoughts on the whole Linkin Park?
Why are they not a fan of it? Did they say why?
Yeah, so the son was not a fan of it because of her connections, I guess, previously to like Scientology, and she.
So what?
Like a minute ago, and then the mom's not a fan of it because I guess they told the mom that that they would talk about it. I mean, not that they had to talk about it with his mom, but they told her that they would discuss any potential reunion plans. And they didn't do that. They just said they were coming back and stuff. So yeah, that's basically the crux of that. But I'm not,
First of all, okay, so Scientology is some wacky religion. Like, who cares if someone was into Scientology? Mm. If that's whatever, So, yeah, I saw some of that in the beginning, like, oh, she used to be a Scientologist. So what? But anyway, no, I was a little skeptical when they got a female. I'm like, what is this? But me and my kid watched it on YouTube, a clip, and she sounds good.
Yeah. No, I think her voice is fine. I think she sounds good. It sounds good. Well, I'm not the biggest Linkin Park fan, but she sounds fine. I mean, obviously, you knew Linkin Park was going to reunite. There's just way too much money.
Yeah, absolutely. At some point, look, they took like 4 years off, and probably had something to do with Chester's wife, something over residuals or, royalty money or something like that. She wanted more, just some shit probably going on behind the scenes. That Dave Grohl had to deal with that with Courtney Love in the beginning after Nirvana. Mm-hmm. Fighting over rights, all this, they're probably lending their songs to like certain, commercials, and she doesn't want them to, that's why they were like, what, fuck her. We're announcing the reunion. We don't have to ask her permission. So I think that's what's going on. But it sounded good. I wanted to check it out. I was skeptical, but she sounded good. She was nailing it.
Is there anybody that isn't active or hasn't reunited that you'd like to see get back together?
Just because from the East Coast and I saw him when I was a kid, Twisted Sister, there's rumors that they might because there's big offers on the table, like to do festivals over in Europe. I would like to see that again, even though I saw him a million times.
I got to think that's going to happen, though, too. You know what I mean? Like, eventually they're going to throw a number to them. And I saw Dee Snider not long ago when I was down in Florida. I was down in Key West, that Rock Island Festival. He was with Bret Michaels. He came out and sang like 3 or 4 songs. I mean, he sounds amazing still. He sounds just as good as ever. I mean, he might not. I get it. He's getting older, and he was so physical and stuff on stage. He might not move around as much, but I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna. I'm sure bands will cut him slack. You know what I mean? I mean, he sounds so good. I'm sure the band would sound great too. Yeah, I can't imagine that one's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's about it. The ones that I would want to see. I've pretty much seen every band. I'm at the point where I'm not seeing these bands anymore. Like, I'm done seeing Iron Maiden. I've seen them probably 20 times. I don't need to see them anymore. Guns N' Roses, I don't need to see anymore. Maybe even Priest, I don't really need to see anymore. So it's like I've seen them so many times, and I got good memories of those bands. Ozzy's obviously not going to tour again. I've seen him enough, so I'm pretty good with that. So I
if AC/DC rolls around in the States, man, will you go
absolutely?
Check that out?
I was going to go over to Europe to go see that. That's one I will definitely go see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no question.
Yeah, I'm glad that it's cool. I'm glad that they made it through that whole European tour without any kind of issues, whatever. And they still sounded pretty good, man. I mean, I mean, for especially for as old as they are, and Brian was moving around all right. Brian actually was sounding better. The later the clips were going on, he was getting better and better, kind of as he was kind of getting back in the groove of things, man. But yeah, I can't imagine they're not going to do stadiums next summer in America. I would think they're going to do at least some anyway.
Hopefully, I mean Brian's 76. You got it. They're running out of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to see him. Hope in the spring. Obviously not going to do it in the winter because, unless they do it in warm weather sites. But I'm thinking the spring, early summer, they'll do some like 10 stadiums in the States. Hopefully.
Yeah, does it bother you at all? I mean, I know a lot of AC/DC fans. Does it bother you at all that that Phil and Cliff aren't there, or that it's for me, if Brian and Angus are there, it's good enough. And the dudes they have filling in are all. I mean, Stevie Young's been there for a while, and then the drummer and bass player are fine. They're just playing the parts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, I mean, I'd love to have Phil running the band, but I think he's got some legal issues where he can't get into another country because all the shit he's been through. So, but I would love to have Phil on the back of the drums. And Cliff Williams, look, he did the one show at that desert, whatever, the reunion show, and he said he was going to retire even, years ago. So, yeah, I'd rather see those guys, but I'll still go see it with just Angus and Brian.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Last time I saw them, they were. I didn't see him with Axl, but I saw him on that tour earlier in the tour up in Detroit, and my wife and I, we walked like we were 30 feet away from them. I mean, we went around the other side of the stadium all the way down, and there was no one like over there. Like it was the place was packed, whatever. But like everybody was just walking in and going straight down to the field, whatever. So we walked all the way around and walked right up the stage and just it was amazing, man. Like they absolutely killed it. They absolutely killed it there. But I thought that was going to be the last time I was ever going to see him, and now it's like, it's a good possibility. You might be able to check him out one more time next year.
Yeah. So I'm psyched. Hopefully, yeah, that's one band I definitely will see.
Yeah, nice. Well, nice, Jim. Well, hey, brother, I'll let you get going here. But again, for everybody that are watching, You Can't Please Them All is out September 27th. You can pre-order it now at jimflorentine.com, and then the video you said will be coming out sometime in October. You said.
Yeah, the video come out in October, and then wherever you get music, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, whatever, it's there. You can pre-order it there too. So, but yeah, so I'm excited for it to come out.